Warning, spoilers ahead. Welcome to the Operation STRIX podcast. I'm your host, LaCroix. Joining me today, as always, are Roski Draftsman.
Hi, guys.
And Cool Blue Rays.
Hello.
We're here to talk about Chapter 76. Not... As you can tell, we're not super hot on it, just from our introduction. I don't know where to start with this chapter, guys, because I'm disappointed. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there right now. I'm super disappointed. I know, Roski, you and Blue are both disappointed as well. I guess the best way to describe why we're feeling this way, or let's talk about why we feel this way and how it relates to this chapter, because I think this chapter kind of like encapsulates everything that all the troubles that we're having with this series at the moment. So like, okay, like, all right, Blue, why, like, okay, let me set it up for everyone listening to this. I did not know there was going to be a chapter today. And when I put it on the server, I was like, oh my God, there's a chapter. And Blue was like, you didn't miss anything. Like, yeah. So like, why did you feel that I didn't miss anything, Blue, even though I agree with you?
Yeah. I agree with you because this chapter is, I'm assuming, a couple days after the hijacking incident. And last chapter, what happened is that, okay, it was weird. We time skipped forward to the kids getting Stella stars, and then we time skipped back right after the hijacking when Melinda shows up, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, this is really cool and very interesting. We're getting a deeper look into Melinda's character. And then we have mission 76, and we just open to Anya singing Starlight Anya at breakfast, and everything just seems way too normal and relaxed because we just finished off a really heavy arc. And I can say with most certainty that I would say that a lot of people in the server and probably most of the fandom were disappointed and confused about why these characters didn't seem as affected by the arc as we would have liked. It didn't feel like there was any real permanent new changes or character growth or even differences in how they really acted. Lloyd, for a moment, he gets nervous and he's wondering, I wonder if Anya might be traumatized from this incident, because he's actually driving her to school for the first time. We got confirmation that they have a family car, which we have never seen until now.
Well, we saw it in illustrations, but not really in the manga.
Yeah, not in the actual manga itself. It had not shown up.
The infamous car that our server has been fixated on for the past 2 years.
The crappy family car.
Yeah, it's an ugly car to drive on, but
but it's cheap and it gets them where they need to go.
Yes. But
moving forward, we are left with just the kids being kids again at Eden, and Lloyd questions for a moment if Anya's doing okay, but she seems to be acting just fine. It's just complaining about how crappy the car is. And the further you read, you start to realize, oh shit, we're not actually gonna get any actual interesting,
get anything
juicy,
of value at all.
Yeah, juicy drama, any juicy scenes. They mention in passing, oh yeah, the parents and the SSS were in the room together complaining about the incident, but they couldn't really speak their minds because the SSS were there. Why didn't we see that though?
Why didn't you fucking show us that?
I kept asking, can we get a scene where the parents are angry at the school or something about what happened? We didn't get that. It got mentioned in passing.
Yeah.
like, why'd we miss that? What the hell?
That seems kind of important to the story. Like,
Yeah, literally.
That's
Ugh.
yes.
And it just focused on it just it focused on Damien and Anya again, and Damien is still acting like a little crappy kid again, and I thought he had moved like somewhat past this, so I am disappointed to see that
He
he's
kind of
still
did a
acting
little
like this.
bit,
Yeah.
like at the end, like where he apologizes and like, okay, like the actual like Anya Damien bit. I don't mind. I don't mind when they give each other shit. Okay, and
Oh
like,
no, I don't
Oh,
mind
no.
either. I just think it came too quickly.
yes, that's true. That is very true. And
It feels awkward, like the pacing. In some
yes,
ways, it's really slow. Some things just do not develop or are brushed aside, and some others feel like they develop too fast at the same time. Ugh,
it's all over the place.
it's
And
all over the place. And that, like, one of the things that I've noticed is that some people, that while the manga and anime popularity have risen,
mhm,
some people that I looked up for whatever reason, that started reading the manga or watching the anime, at some point started to like wane in interest or even drop it, and that happens.
mhm,
That usually happens with any manga, no?
yeah,
But one of the things, but outside of the typical shonen fans that just want fights and fan service and whatever, well, let's ignore that. There's people like that. Where, but some people that do try to look up the series for what it is,
mhm,
I've seen them drop interest because they felt the pacing was slow, or some of interesting things that they focus on, or they could
mhm.
focus on, they do not. And the more the series goes on, like, okay, as much as I do like the series, I have to give credit that they do have a point. There are points where there are various moments where uh, a lot of time is spent in small talk, small things, eating experiences, eating. And it's not
Yeah,
even bad in the sense that, and it's not bad to focus on Anya and her classmates necessarily, because at the end of the day, she is the crux of Operation STRIX.
mhm.
But there's a lot of times where
It's too much.
it's too much. Like, slow burn doesn't cut it. Like, slow
Yeah,
burn doesn't cut the fact that some chapters and events and moments just do not deliver on some developments they could have, or even could be argued should have.
yeah.
And it's like we were robbed of some very, very important moments. And I get that part of the reason is to that the focal point of these events is Anya and Damien, but um, Yori still lax about this. Lloyd, while shows some concern, just doesn't press too much on the matter, even if
I
it's
I
clear.
Okay, yeah, no, I wanted to talk about the characterizations because I feel like, and I put this on the server, and I'm not gonna go reread everything that I put on there, but I think I, and I might be wrong about this because I don't know what the next chapter is going to be like, but the way these past couple of chapters have played out is it seems like this entire thing, this entire uh, bus hijacking was just a vehicle to get Anya and Damien closer together to further Plan B, because now Anya's plan is to invite Damien over to her house instead of going over to his house.
Right,
Which
the B plan.
the B plan, not Plan B, B plan.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. I love her though, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's good that, yeah, Anya's going about it her own way. That's not the part I have issue with. The part that I have issue with is that for the past 4 months that this hijacking arc has been going on, we've been here along with all of our commenters, all of our viewers, theorizing, dissecting, trying to figure out what's going to happen next and how does this impact the total scope of the story, right? And from the way it's looking, it's like this had no effect on the story whatsoever, aside from getting Anya and Damien a little bit closer together. because I have not seen any character growth from any of these people in the past couple of chapters, which blows my fucking mind. Like
I
that.
know. I think Lloyd is the worst case of it too. We thought he'd be the most affected, and he seems to be, in fact, almost the least affected.
The least affected. Like, and that's what that it pulls the rug out of everything that we just talked about with the last episode. Was that, even though he wasn't all like, freaking out or anything like that over, he was like, I'll just see her later, blah blah. He still came all the way halfway across the country just to make sure that she was safe. And now you're telling me like, oh, it wasn't, the way he's acting like it wasn't that big a deal. And I'm just like, how are you gonna like how are you going to disrespect your own characters like that? Because I feel that's what's happening here, or at least that's the way it's coming across. Is like, I don't think it's intentional. I don't think Endo is ever out to intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead,
mean, it
Roski.
feels like, okay, this is a weird comparison again, but it feels like how they handled having the traitor in Persona 5. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, like
Oh.
The original
okay,
or the remake or the Royal?
the original.
The original. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like when they do find who is the traitor and they have to still cooperate with him, um, some characters that were very wronged by this guy do
Mhm.
not do not really get a moment to actually lash out at him or oppose to cooperating with him. They still
Yeah.
made some passing comments that, oh, we do not trust this guy, but you do not really get to explore something that should be explored because it's a really important
Yes.
moment. And
Like, he's responsible for so many deaths, and it's like that never gets talked about.
yeah, exactly. I get
What
this feeling from
the?
this, and it's from this specific moment because post arcs gave us satisfying payoffs. Like the
Yes.
Boulder gave us a satisfying payoff, the Inusan gave us a satisfying payoff, and here is like
There is no payoff.
I'm gonna sidestep something that cool. Like I'm gonna sidestep all this just to focus on the kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is that feels like the wrong move, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like, as like, and that's what we've been talking about on the server for the past like couple hours. It's just like, you know, at what point are we going to see actual progression in the story and in the characters themselves? Because as I had talked about, like, I keep giving Endo and Lloyd the benefit of the doubt, and they both just keep like defaulting to chapter 1, where it's like there's like no growth whatsoever in these people and their caricatures of themselves at this point. And like how am I supposed to relate to like I'm invested in this series. I think we're all invested in this series, but like for like 90% of the population who are just like, oh, let me check this out, this would be like a no-go for them. If like you 76 chapters in and the characters act like nothing's changed, basically, and like, like I had said, like by this time Denji was already going up against Gun Devil and stuff like that, in the 70s. And I'm like, this apparently is supposed to be going on for a long time. Like, if this is how the pace is going to be for however many years this manga is going to go, I don't know how long I could deal with it. Like,
I
I'll be
mean,
honest.
the thing is, okay, I'm not gonna try to start an argument about cultural aesthetics or anything,
Yeah.
but let's remember, manga first and foremost, it's a product that is sold to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as here in the other side of the pond, we can see that people hate finality, like they can't deal with it, and superhero stories have to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on,
Mm-hmm.
and every Marvel movie has to have a sequel. Japan isn't innocent of that either. Like, have you seen Detective Conan? Like, it's not for the meme. It's
Yeah.
not for the meme, but that thing has gone on for fucking decades
Arthur, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
without plot progression, because people keep going in with the sense of safety that the status quo is keeping around. There's an audience that likes that repetition. So
Mm.
I do think that this decision isn't necessarily like destructive for Endo, but it does drive home a lot of a very important narrative problem because, like I said, um, when some people voice criticism against a series, it's like, oh, you just want everything to be fast paced. Like, no, I just want things to
Feel satisfying.
feel satisfying, to affect the plot, to have
Yeah,
resolution.
to
Yes, I don't
be
want a love
important.
confession in the next 3 chapters or anything, but I do want that. Oh, this thing happened. This thing nearly got a, a lot of children killed, and I wasn't there, I and it should affect me because it's part of my mission. It's part, and not just my mission, but my ultimate goal. In the case of Lloyd, it's like I want to make a world where children don't cry. And
Mm-hmm.
then children got nearly massacred by a bunch of lunatics,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he is
Hmm.
unfazed about it. Like, no,
yeah.
it's not. Like, no,
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
children.
yeah,
great point. I wasn't even thinking of
yeah.
it from that perspective, but yeah, that's 100% right. Like, I and okay, so like from what I see, because ironically, I go back and I re-listen to our podcast, to figure out different audio things I could do or whatever. And the one that I was listening to yesterday was the one where we were talking about animator Lloyd, and
Mm.
Oh,
I was talking about how I would have wanted this to be an entire arc, like a silly arc of them. Like it has no, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not important, but it's a fun thing for the characters to do. That I don't want every single arc to be like this important thing that's like, oh god, it's like this, or like the Ostania explodes. It's like, no, like it could be tiny little things, but those tiny things can mean a lot to the characters and like how they relate to one another and like their relationships. Like
oh
that
yeah.
would have been a great way for like Wise to like, we could have got more background on Wise, or like the mustache agent that we still don't know the fucking name of.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
give a fucking name code name, please.
yeah, just mustache age. I don't even know, dude. But like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, to your point, to what you're talking about with like these, like like Detective Conan's and stuff like that. Like, frick, what is the name of like Gintama? Okay,
Oh,
Gintama went on for a long
Mm.
time, and it's a
Yeah.
comedy anime, but there are parts in there that are really, serious, and like, it falls into that category of like Detective Conan, where it just goes on and on and on. But like the stories themselves are satisfying, and the way they are arranged within the story and how they flow into one another, like that's what's important. And I think that's what's getting missed here,
yeah.
because all the
And
pieces are here. All the pieces are here. It's just they're just kind of get thrown together, and I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because in a way, this misstep is a blunder in so many fronts for things that were building up and they were looking so good. Like,
Yeah,
you see character growth in past arcs, or you see small character moments that do mean something later down the line, and
no,
chances are they're still could explore some things here later down the line. But right now, it just gives this sensation of we are gonna push all of this important discussion aside just to focus on these kids because right.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well, it doubly hurts, and we had talked about this because last podcast we were giving Endo the benefit of the doubt. It's like, okay, this isn't exactly how I thought it would go down, but like this is a good setup for like what's about to come, and like that he had the perfect out, I guess, to like do what we assumed he was going to do at the very least, continue on with the whole characters, coming to terms with things, or like even setting up for like you're going over to Garden and be like, who did this? And it's like Red Circus, and then that could have been a whole can of worms that got blown up. Like, it didn't have to be like touchy feely. Like, it could have just been everyone pissed off and like, things
Yeah, I
going off from
mean,
there. Like,
like,
but
yeah,
nobody's pissed off.
no,
Nobody's
yeah.
pissed off.
I mean, it could be like, it could be that moment like in Hunter x Hunter where Gon doesn't get to avenge Kite, and he just keeps
Yeah.
building the emotion, and then you see
Yeah.
next time and keeps building the emotion, and when he explodes, it's a fucking tragedy because he blows up half his lifetime potential in a moment of anger.
Yeah.
Like it didn't have, and the thing is that shit brew. Like it didn't explode. It wasn't like a super major reveal.
Yeah.
He was like the character wasn't allowed to let go of his anger, and it didn't disappear. It was brought up again. It didn't disappear, and it was finally brought up, and all the pent-up anger exploded.
Yeah.
It was a big moment, and we're not given even that. It's like, oh yeah, it happened, and sure, have some shenanigans. Like, don't quit on that. Like, I'm still clinging on the hope that maybe later they're gonna address this more thoroughly, but
it would be too late. Like,
it will be too late. It will be deflated. It will be deflated.
Like, if this gets brought up like 10 chapters down the road, and yours like, oh god, I was so angry when that happened. Like, it's not going to do it for me. It's not going to work.
It will feel like slap in the face.
Yeah, and like, but it's like it should have been a good chapter. Like, I guess that's why it's so frustrating for us, is like, because we got some good bits. Like, we got the part with Damien going home to eat by himself, and then Jeeves, who we finally meet for the first time, and he's like,
oh yeah,
according to Pines, he's way hotter than we all thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be an old dude, but no, he's
Same
like
here.
Black Butler. Yeah.
I mean,
Don't say that.
You know he is.
Like a guy,
no.
but then half the server were like,
oh god, can we get a Black Butler AU with Damien and Jeeves?
Up.
Oh my god,
shut
yes,
up.
I'm gonna do it.
No, I
okay.
no.
Anyway, no,
Okay,
I won't
yeah.
do it yet. But okay, so
the thing is, like, the really, really fucking annoying thing, and this is one of those one panel fixes. Like, you could fix half of this shit with just one panel.
I
I mean,
what would that be?
for instance, he drops Annie out so she can go to school, and then you just put a panel of him, of his face, in silence, contemplating,
Yeah.
and then like, oh, he's simmering on this. Bam! With
Yeah,
that
fixed.
alone, you just
Fucking fixed.
fucking fixed.
You're
like,
right.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, or if it was, they were in the car and he's like, she might be traumatized, and there would have been like a flashback to him crying as a kid, and like, it wouldn't be any words. It would just been him like that, and then just him like looking at her in the mirror. I'm like, that's all you had to do. That's all you had to do.
Honestly,
and with that alone, you establish that he's simmering on it, and you could have done that for any character. You could have done that for you have for Lloyd, you can, but no, it's just like, oh yeah, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. And that's what this chapter felt like, was like, all right, moving on. We're going to hit all these plot beats that I know you want to see, because boom, Forger's got a car now, and Damien's mom cooked all the food, but she's not here because she's living at her own house, which is really weird, and like, I do want to explore more on that later. But
I mean, that's the thing that prevents this from being a complete disaster, even if it was very disappointing. Is that now I'm kind of intrigued what the fuck is up with Melinda, because okay, she killed for him and then got the fuck out.
Yeah,
right.
That's not normal behavior at all.
Yeah.
And even for the standards that we have been setting up for Melinda, that's just not normal behavior.
Yeah. Like, that's like, okay, Blue, I want to talk to you about that. Like, I want your opinions on that, because like, I know we had talked about how like Melinda was a lot like Todoroki's mom, and like, how she acts, but like this kind of throws me for a loop. Is like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so I've been talking about this with some other friends, right? About
Mhm.
kind of about the Desmonds, and we kind of figured they're probably only really married on paper, or like maybe on the brink of divorce, or they're literally separated and haven't told anyone
Yeah.
that they are not really together anymore. Which
Mhm.
is why Melinda has her own residence. Like this, honestly, like it didn't shock me, I think, as much as it might have shocked other people that, oh, Melinda doesn't live like in the
Yeah.
same house as her husband.
I
Like,
took it for granted. I took that
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
for granted. Like they at least sleep in separate rooms, separate houses.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, they got it.
That's how far we thought it went, or like they lived in different
Yeah.
wings. But like, nope, they said own residence, which means she's got her own place. She's
She
not
gone.
living there. Yeah.
She fucking gone. Yeah.
Oh, divorce arc. Where's my divorce arc?
I mean, there's not a whole lot coming back from that. Like, I'm just thinking like in real life terms. I'm like, when shit, like,
Yeah, when it's gotten to that point,
yeah, it's like, you know,
Ugh.
your buddy's asking you
Yeah.
what you should do, and you're like, buddy, just let her go. Like, it
Yeah.
ain't happening.
I think the consensus we kind of came to is, oh, maybe he was fine with her living on her own, but he's not fine with her divorcing him because the kids still need to be at Eden or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I think that's as far as we thought it might have gone. Like, they're just sticking it out because the kids need to stay at Eden, and I don't think they let them stay there unless Donovan got remarried, essentially.
Yeah.
Again.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't know how Eden would handle that kind of situation. It's like, oh, your wife left you? Sorry, your kids can't go to this school anymore.
Right,
That
even
was
if
so
you are the
insensitive.
most powerful guy in the country.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know.
Right,
But,
no, I mean-
Academy bullshit. You know, like.
but yeah, I mean, this paints a very gloomy depiction of the Desmond's home life. I mean, we
Yeah.
already kind of knew that, I think, for a while
Mhm.
now, that, oh yeah, no, things are not peachy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Definitely not. And I mean, this definitely is another piece to the puzzle. And I'm really hoping we'll get to see more about the Desmonds going forward, because we're getting some more background kind of flashbacks. And Melinda showed up, and she kind of showed some of her truer colors to Anya by accident, which is crazy to me. So I mean, that intrigued me at the very least, like the stuff about the Desmond stuff. I thought it was actually like, okay, we'll talk about, I guess, the Eden kids. I thought it was really funny. Like, honestly, this chapter did make me laugh because I was trying really hard not to get upset or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, you know what? This made me laugh. This made me giggle a little bit about how cute and funny the trope is, where it's like, oh my god, rich kids don't understand what commoners are like. And Anya's she's telling all these lies about, like, yeah, I train and my mom cooks me like terrible food. And they're like, wow,
that part's real, but
yeah. But you know, all the kids are like, wow, Anya, you're so tough and cool.
So hardcore.
And something interesting someone pointed out was that it seemed like to them that the kids at Wald Hall, which is where like Bill Watkins, who are his classes,
yeah,
it felt like to us that, oh, it seems like the kids are kind of nicer in the Wald Hall than they are in Cecile Hall. But then again, they don't really know Anya, so maybe that's why they were super impressed with her.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, to be fair. I just thought it was like, oh, this is really cute. All these dumb rich kids are like, oh my god, the commoner girl, she's so cool.
Well,
You're really a peasant.
I assumed it was Billy talking them up to all the kids in the Wald Hall. That's why they were like, oh my god, it's Anya the hero. Like,
oh, it's definitely possible. I think there were a couple of Wald students, right? They were all kind of combining.
Yeah, because Billy was there too.
Yeah, so I'm assuming some of them probably saw the whole thing went down and told all their other friends, and now everyone's like, oh, Anya is so tough and cool.
Yeah.
And this was actually a really funny beat. I had never noticed this before, but like the moment when Damien sees the little shiver, I don't know, the little bubble, and then he like smacks it. Yeah, I didn't realize that he had done that before during like the first time he ever felt something for Anya. I thought he like threw a plate down on the floor. So I was like, oh, that joke is he's like messing with the bubbles on the manga page. That's really funny.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really fucking funny.
I also like that. I like that little part too, where Becky's like, "You're just jealous because someone else might get it." He's like,
yeah,
like even Becky's just like, "Come on, you know what's going on here." And Debbie's like,
yeah.
I couldn't care less about that runt.
I mean, it's one of my favorite gags in the manga. Well, in any manga.
Oh yeah, I love
interact with the dialogue bubbles.
Uh-huh.
Like like how Damien is like, oh, she's shivering. He stops for a moment, sees the balloon, and then Max is like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think
And
Yuri might have done that too. No, go ahead.
I also love every time Anya thinks about like the Desmond family, all their eyes are wonky and they're poorly drawn. It's like my favorite
And
joke.
there's snot coming out of Damien's nose. Yeah.
And their eyes are really big and like cross-eyed or like looking off in different directions.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things.
I do like Anya's plan now of like inviting Damien over to her house.
I think that's that's more likely to happen than her going to the Desmond's place for sure.
Because it's more a sound plan because you're not going to get into the Desmond's residence.
Like,
it's absolutely just not going to happen. No. But if she invites Damien over,
then maybe his parents will come over with him or something if we're lucky.
No, I doubt it. Like it'd probably be.
Well, maybe Melinda might. She knows Yor. To be fair, I don't know.
I mean, that is true.
But I don't know.
But I do see them more likely to just send jeeps or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Becky came with Martha, which I mean, even Becky's parents love her, of course, but they seem to be also very busy parents. So it's better that they send Martha over. Makes sense. So probably Jeeves would just pop by or something.
Because I know Lloyd would definitely be like, okay, we're gonna like if he found out Damien was coming over, he'd pull out all the stops to impress him. So I think it has a better chance of actually working out for her. But
let's see, going forward, I thought it was hilarious when Anya was wondering, is Becky some kind of enemy spy trying to interfere with her friendship plan? Because she was trying to keep Anya from being a liar and embellishing all her stories.
And she was saving your butt.
Yeah.
I know, seriously. She's like, she's like an enemy spy. It's like, oh, God. Lloyd had the exact same thought. You two are such fucking idiots.
Becky, yeah, exactly. Oh my God, is she? Oh, I didn't realize it. They both had the same thought. I was just like,
Lloyd literally thought the exact same thing when Becky was like, "No, you don't have to apologize to that jerk Damien." And Lloyd's like, "What the hell? Yeah, like is she working with the Desmonds because she like their companies work together or something?" Yeah.
Lloyd and Anya, father and daughter, dumbasses.
Oh, so suspicious of everyone.
Yeah,
that's another thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, what's up, Blue?
Oh, sorry, Roski, what were you saying?
That it says a lot when the rich girl is the voice of common sense.
Especially Becky of all people.
Who's super rich. I wanted to bring up something that I had talked about a bit with Hype, because, again, she was pissed off about this chapter, and she was mentioning that she felt that, Anya, she's, like, taking Yor for granted and throwing her under the bus all the time. And like I had brought up, well, for kids, it's good for them to feel safe enough with a parent that they feel like they can kind of make those sort of statements and not feel like the parent is going to punish them or abandon them for it. So like, actually, it's pretty good that Anya feels secure with Yor. And, I was talking about kind of the parallels with, we know we've talked about the foils with obviously the Forger and the Desmonds. And like, I guess another one to point out here is that it's like Anya and Damien are both struggling with this problem, of course, of they want their dads to like them and approve of them and to do whatever they can for them to pay attention to them and love them, and also kind of not appreciating their mothers. Which was, I guess, just an interesting thing to think about going forward, sort of like with the points or like the things that Hype was pointing out. And thinking, of course, about like Melinda coming in and acting the way she does with her son, and just remembering like, these kids just really want their parents to love them and be happy with them. And like Anya still struggles with feeling like she's doing enough for Lloyd. And obviously Damien is really struggling with that problem as well. I guess it was just something to think about again, even though I think it was already very obvious they're foils of each other. It's just like, here's another thing to kind of add on, I guess.
Well, I think
the situation.
Well, I think that highlights a core idea of the story that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, where a lot of the story does revolve around people trying to gain the approval of others. I think that's pretty much all the characters in this story is,
That's true, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
except for maybe Lloyd, but when he
Really?
was younger, when he was younger,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
for his dad and everything. And now he's kind of like the one that's just, he's like the straight man, but everyone else is like, yours looking for approval from Lloyd, Yuri from Anya from her parents, Damien from his parents, like, or his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to motivations, not goals.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I think
right,
I think it's a strong motivation, but
no, I mean, it is a strong motivation. It's a very, very, very valid, very human motivation. But I mean that more in the sense that his goal, in a way, is to gain the approval of Desmond.
I was just thinking that too.
So I mean, but his motivation isn't to gain the approval of anyone. It's because, like, I need to learn about this man before he does something really wrong, really dangerous, or really fucking stupid. Not that he cares about what he thinks about him in the emotional way. But in the case of the other characters, that is a very important driving force. In the case of David, it's a very important driving force.
Yeah.
Anya, in the case of your, to a lesser extent, but yeah, but motivation wise, not goal wise.
Yeah. Something else I had been thinking about too. I had like this mental scene in my mind. I don't know if it would ever happen, but I thought it would be interesting if there was like a moment where like Lloyd and Donovan, for whatever reason, they talked, and Donovan was criticizing Lloyd essentially and saying, I know I'm not a good father, but at least my kids know I'm honest with them. You are crueler because you make fake promises and you fake your smiles or whatever. I think just essentially, I don't know if this would ever happen, but I guess the idea was like somebody coming in and criticizing Lloyd for, starting up this whole fake family business. At the very least, we are kind of criticizing him for that all the time. We already know he said that he would give them up once the mission is over or whatever happens with them, and we have no indication if he's changed his mind about that. Not like, I guess,
from what we've seen,
not confirmation. I think we know that, or at least we're hoping that he's been thinking about it more, but it feels like he's still set on, no, I'm going to let them go once this mission is over.
Yeah.
Or I get compromised or something. And, you have to argue, like, does that make Lloyd, weirdly enough, one of the harsher characters technically? Because, yes, he does a lot for Anya and for Yor, but he still plans on leaving them when the mission is over.
No, he's still cold. Like,
yeah,
and I've
exactly.
said it before. Mongoloid's cold. Like,
he's really cold. We need fucking Gucci to come in and
Lloyd.
soften this man.
Gucci, come.
Please.
We need Papa Gucci.
We do.
Because
we do.
And and
such a talented voice actor, but I mean, like, that's one of the main issues kind of hanging over our heads, right? Is that
when
his mission's over, what the hell is Lloyd going to do?
I mean, I don't know. I could honestly, I don't know, because
I don't know either. I don't know how that would even work.
Okay, you were joking with me earlier, but about, like, Lloyd. It's real tough for the Lloyd fans out there, and I was like, yeah, it really fucking is.
I mean, I wasn't joking. I was honestly pretty serious about that.
And that's the sad part.
I know, because Sky's been saying that she's been getting into beef with Lloyd stans on Twitter right now about how everyone's criticizing Yor a ton and not Lloyd. I'm like, have you been seeing what this man's been doing recently versus Yor? He's been doing way worse shit, and you're still here defending his ass? Like, come on. I wouldn't mind if they were defending him. I just hate that they're, like, putting down Yor to compare him as the better parent.
I don't even know anything about that. I'm just saying from, like,
shit, guys. That's the point of the manga.
Well, the point of the manga is that everyone is terrible. Like, and I'm not joking. Like, it's literally all of these people kill so many people every day. But the other part of it is that nothing is black and white, and just because these people go around killing people, that doesn't make them evil. It just means that they have ideals that they will try to live up to through any means possible. And, like, does that make you evil? Does that not make you evil? And that's one of the big draws for this manga when it first started, that was the question. And, like, now I don't even know, like, what the point is. And, and
shit.
that's that, yeah. And that goes along with Lloyd. Like, Lloyd is supposed to be the he's supposed to be the driving force of this big question. And like, I feel like for most of this manga that's been true, but like lately it just feels like Lloyd is just there. Like, it's the
Yeah,
Anya
like
show now, and like, I mean, arguably you could have said Anya was the main character from the very beginning, which she kind of was, but like now it's just like I don't know what Lloyd does. Like, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know
I
anything
know.
either.
I mean,
And
since the flashback arc, you know,
yeah,
there hasn't been much for
he
him to
hasn't
do
done
at all.
anything
Like,
since before the boat art. Let that sink in. I don't think he's done anything since before the boat art.
Oh
And
god.
like, I know we were saying Yor needs all this extra attention, but I feel like Lloyd needs it now too. If not cool shit to do, at least character growth. Like, give me
yeah,
that.
like that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, okay, yeah, I know it's a tough balancing act, and for a long time they end on neglected Dior, but uh, being willing to give more space for a character to shine shouldn't come at the cost of leaving the others behind, especially if they are so important for the conflict. It's I mean, it just feels like the balancing act that he managed to get in the innocent arc, which is still my favorite because of that.
Yeah.
Like every character drove the actions of other characters.
Uh-huh.
Anya
Yeah.
gets going. Anya gets going to stop Lloyd from getting killed. That gets your moving. Your gets moving. That gets the criminal moving. That gets Anya moving. So all the actions interconnect, and all the actions let the character shine. Where in the boat arc, Lloyd was a sitting duck, only for then give a bullshit reason so he can like, oh yeah, I did something and stop the boat.
I liked it you brought that up because that underlines like the problem with this is like this manga works when it's the family. When it's the family working together, doing stuff together. And it starts to lose steam when you start taking pieces away from that. And like with this one, you took away Lloyd and Yor and left Anya. And I, for a while it was good because we got to see Anya do something on her own, but at the same time, we're over here ripping our hair out like, where are Lloyd and Yor for like 4 months, and then they show up and didn't do a goddamn thing, and it was like, okay, that was a punch to the gut, like that hurt, and it still hurts, but I don't know. I want.
Weren't you the one saying that it's good to not have them around to try to showcase some of the side characters?
That yes,
Yeah,
and I do stand by that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like I want there to be repercussions for that for everybody that wasn't there, and there's nothing there.
Okay, the statements aren't mutually exclusive. That's the thing. You can give more space to the side characters, to the smaller characters, to the characters that need attention, and you can still give something to the characters that are not in the spotlight at the moment, that are central characters. Lloyd and yours should be affected by this, like a lot. It's a children they are caring for that almost got killed by terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not given enough space to actually let that small panel of contemplation of how they felt. And
Yeah.
it's like you can have a chapter entirely on Frankie, and if that somehow still affects Lloyd, you can give those small moments that
Right.
of how
Right.
it will affect
Exactly.
him. Like, and that's the thing, that giving more space to another character in another conflict shouldn't cut away from giving those characters that are surrounding him that conflict some space to show they have been affected by it as well. And
And that's what kind of blows my mind is like, and Endo's done it before. He's done that,
yeah,
but he hasn't done it in a while. And it's like, I I've got 1,000 fanfic writers on AO3 that do that better than what I witnessed in this arc. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, what the hell was that noise?
I think it was a car passing by. And
I was like, what the fuck was that? Anyway,
Okay.
Impromptu sound effect.
yeah, there we go. We're gonna get our sound effects. I'm more at this point. I'm more excited just putting the podcast together than fucking talk about the chapter. But I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to highlight before we wrap up for today? Because I don't think there's a whole lot else we can talk about in terms of our disappointment. I don't know.
Any predictions from you guys about next time?
I'm done predicting. I'm so done predicting. For a while. I don't know. I'm gonna cool off. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna cool off and I'm gonna read the next chapter. I'm not gonna like quit Spy Family, but it's like it's just frustrating at the moment.
I know. Okay. I'll make a tiny prediction. I'm hoping that we will get Yuri. I guess maybe recovering at home, or the forgers come and help him out.
At least put him in like a sling or something like that.
Okay, seriously.
That with the one you said about then coming out to help him, that seems the most likely. Like, he's gonna play it off like he broke his arm or something. He's not gonna tell me he got shot.
Hell no,
obviously.
hell no.
But yeah, that would be a good way because he's always going over to the forgers to do shit. So like now they're gonna go
have
to his
them
house.
to his crappy little apartment,
his pigsty, and everyone's cleaning. Oh my god, that would be a fun little
Or it would be nice if Dominic would be
apartment.
helping him out because they're neighbors practically.
Oh my god, and then he gets Camilla, and then they got the little headbands on, and they're sweeping and dusting and getting mad at Anya because she sucks at cleaning. But I don't know.
I'll take anything at this point.
At least give me something cute. Like that's
yeah. I would actually like something with Yuri considering he got shot.
Yeah, he needs some attention. I'm not usually a Yuri fan, but like he needs some love right now. He got shot, man.
He deserves
a
little
fucking shot.
Seriously, it feels like we glossed over the fact that the man actually legitimately got shot.
100%. 100%.
Like, what the hell? We're just gonna brush over that?
Right, a lot of things got brushed over, unfortunately.
No,
but
that's true.
You're right, though. I would love to see that. I just some more family interaction.
And I would really love to see just a little tiny more hints about Desmond's stuff. I have no idea if Donovan is going to say or do anything about this. I kind of doubt it. But if there was even a small inkling that he would say, or even show an ounce of like he kind of cared that his son almost got like shot up or exploded from a fucking bomb, for God's sake, that would be great.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to talk about Demetrius anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we literally got the butler.
We got the butler before Demetrius, yeah.
I'm so done.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say it was weird that Damien was home and fucking Demetrius wasn't there, but it's like whatever. Whatever.
He's just dead. I think he's just dead.
I think that's a good encapsulation for how we're gonna end this. Is whatever.
Whatever.
That
was a chapter of Spy X Family, I guess.
That was a chapter, and we talked about things. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
No, but well,
yeah. I don't know. I'm really, really trying not to get mad at Endo and just. I keep telling myself he's just working really hard on the movie. That's why we're losing so much quality in the writing of the manga. It's all sacrifice for hopefully a good movie. If the movie turns out to be crap, I'm gonna be even more pissed off. But I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. Because there's a whole.
It can't be any worse than the second Demon Slayer movie that I just saw yesterday.
Oh shit!
Go watch it. Well, okay. I might delete this.
I haven't seen anything past the first movie. Actually, I didn't start season 2 because I heard that it's all the same events of the train arcs. I was like, what the fuck is the point of watching?
Okay, so if you haven't seen the second season, watch episode all the way to episode 9, and then go watch the movie, because the movie is the last 2 episodes of the second season. Okay, and then it's also the first season of the first episode of the new season that's coming out. And like I already knew that going into it, and I already saw the second season, but those last 2 episodes are like they're like chef's kiss. They're awesome. So I was like, yeah, I'll go watch it. But the thing is, they did the opposite that they did with the movie. The first movie was that they made the movie into episodes, and they broke it up.
Oh, I see.
But with here, they just smushed the episodes together. Like they didn't even like cut them to where like it flows into one another. It was literally just episode 1, here are all the credits. Episode 2, here are all the credits, and then third episode, here are all the credits. Like I saw like so many credits in this movie. And
my
I saw
God.
the same scenes like 6 or 7 times. I was like, "What the fuck did I pay $30 to watch this shit?"
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh Christ, no!
But if you haven't seen them, though, I would recommend seeing it.
I don't know. I've been kind of
So-
out of Demon Slayer. I think after the movie, I was like,
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, Blue.
I'm sure it is. I just I took a break. Whatever.
That's fair. I might take a break.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad to be having like other manga to read on Sunday because I've been reading the Ichino's Family Sins.
Yeah,
Dude, it's so fucking good. There is so much like dark, interesting shit going on in that manga. I
yeah.
highly recommend it if you're like a big kind of mystery sci-fi murder fan. Read it.
Interesting.
It's so fucking good.
I will
Just
definitely
me.
look at it when I have time.
I hope you do.
I
'Cause
hope I do too.
it really got me hooked. Like
Okay.
chapter 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll read chapter 1.
And it's
I'll look
made
into
by
it.
the same author who did it's this I didn't read this
Takopi.
manga. I only watched a video, but Takopi.
Well,
I
we'll talk
will be
about
reading
it.
it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the recording. I actually gotta head out. But
all right.
we're that's our opinion, guys. That's just our opinion. Always want to listen to what you guys are saying. All the people listening right now, leave it in the comments. We'll talk about it next chapter because we will watch next chapter despite how down we're sounding right now. We will be back here in a couple of weeks to talk about it.
Yeah, don't worry.
We ain't quitting yet. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, in the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Roski?
Sorry.
Bye.